Old man Rivers coming back to play QB? What? And will the Jets and Giants make a big trade on draft day? All that and more coming up. The Manchild Show with Boy Green live starts right now.
Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. 'Cause when it's born, it's all we're gonna do. If Boy Green is always on the scene, it was gonna always bring to the live streaming. So get ready, get ready, 'cause here they come.
All right, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's the Wednesday Live Show. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Back again, looking for subscribers. If you're out there and you aren't already subscribed, well, jump on in, hit that little red subscribe button. Got your chance to win right now a Bobby Mercer autographed baseball. We're only about 10 people away from giving away that ball. Many other incentives leading right up to $500, where we've got a $400 golf club going out the door, courtesy of our friends at Play It Again Sports. All right, welcome aboard. Good morning, Boy Green. How are you on a Wednesday? What's up?
Yeah, I'm doing dandy, thanks. I'm looking forward to some, mix it up. Some Jets Giants mock draft. We'll get into that stuff later. And of course, it's an NFL Wednesday, so we get to check in with my favorite squeeze at all things Pro Football Focus, PFF.
All right, let's bring him in for Pro Football Focus. He's our NFL insider, and his name is Dalton Wasserman. Good morning, Dalton. How are you?
Fantastic. Another wild week coming, guys. Plenty to talk about.
Ooh, let's start with Old Man Rivers. It's just so much fun. This is like Mike Tyson fighting. Who did he fight? Recently in the MMA fight.
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. So it's like all of us wanted to see Tyson, throw that punch and like deck Jake Paul and be like, whoa, 60-year-old Mike Tyson getting it done, Who didn't love, even though you hate Tom Brady, the idea of someone at, close to 45 years old out there, trying to win Super Bowls and competing at the highest level. And so here we have a real situation with the Indianapolis Colts. They lose Daniel Jones for the season, already playing with a broken fibula, and now out there, whatever it was. And was it the fibula? I can't remember. The tibia, one of his bones in his legs. All right. And then now he ruptures the Achilles, and now they lose their quarterback. Their backup is okay. Now that guy gets a little banged up in the game too. So now they're even wondering if he can play this week. So they're looking at options. They do have Rippon's son still on their roster. I guess he could be in there. Who the heck knows? But they need some depth, and they need somebody who maybe could take this thing over. And they look out there and they go, Phillip Rivers, he may be up for Hall of Fame induction this year, but he's still in pretty good shape. Let's bring him in and try him out. And next thing you know, the guy's on their practice squad, and who knows how soon before he's on their active roster. So what do you make of all this? And is there any chance? Are you rooting for Rivers? How do you feel about what the Colts are doing right now? Is this just sheer desperation?
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the word. It feels like we're just seeing the desperate nature of the Colts season and where it's at right now, right? Obviously, Anthony, and keep in mind the other event that led to this too. Remember Anthony Richardson with the pregame accident with one of the rubber band, the training bands, and breaking his orbital, hitting himself with that. So, I mean, it's just the series of events here that has led us to this point with the Colts to where, they were 7-1, and now I'm not sure they're going to win another game because of this quarterback situation. They were already struggling with Daniel Jones. So look, in this offense, Shane Steichen generally makes things very easy for quarterbacks. The reads are easy. There's a lot of RPOs, and the run game is supposed to be obviously very good. It hasn't been as good in recent weeks. It can be a relatively, quote, easy job for a quarterback to go in and perform, but also, like you mentioned, Phillip Rivers is 44 years old, and we haven't seen him in almost 5 years. So, I mean, as far as his on-field performance, it's certainly going to be entertaining, probably one way or the other. But, it just speaks to the Colts and how much they're grabbing at straws right now with the way the rest of the season has gone after that Sauce Gardner trade.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Aren't we all, Paul? Aren't you morbidly curious? I mean, don't you want to see this? I want to see it. I mean, I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm not expecting great results, but I definitely want to see it. A 44-year-old guy who hasn't been out there nearly 5 years, as you said, tossing touchdown passes? What the bleep? Go ahead, Paul.
I mean, obviously, as a Jets fan, I'm very invested in them being terrible. So, I'd prefer that.
Draft
But
picks, yes, to
right,
trades.
but as a casual football fan, which is what this show allows us to do, to just look at the best games, not just best Jet games, not just best Giant games or whatever. Right, it's more interesting, with all due respect to Brett Rippon, former Jets quarterback legend. With all due respect, him or retired borderline Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's among, I think it's the 26 modern era candidates, so he's in the running right now for the Hall of Fame. If he gets signed to the active roster, he's only on the practice squad right now. That Hall of Fame clock resets. You'd have to wait another 5 years to become first eligible. So it's crazy of that going in. I'll start off with this, Dalton. We may have already thought this before, but now with all of this crazy news, and it's unfortunate, Daniel Jones blows out his Achilles. You never root for injuries. Now they're relying on 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. Is this the greatest Jets trade of all time?
It could get there. It really could. I know there've been some wild ones in the past, but when you look at the state of the Colts, not just for this year, but for next year also, Daniel Jones on a torn Achilles, and keep in mind, this is only a 1-year contract, so we really have no idea who's going to be the Colts starting quarterback next year. And with the way their offense is struggling and their defense now is struggling too, how bad could they be next year when you're talking about you have their 2027 first-round pick, one of 3 first-round picks that the Jets have. Plus, if A.D. Mitchell turns into anything at all, the Colts are going to look bad on that side of it, especially if they let Alec Pierce walk in free agency this offseason. So, look, the Jets are feeling pretty good about this trade right now. Obviously, it's tough to give up good players when you talk about trading away a Sauce Gardner and then a Quinnen Williams to Dallas as well. But the way that they've stacked this up, they have prepared themselves with 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years, plus bringing in a talented player in A.D. Mitchell to try to succeed, right? And it's not going to be overnight. They're not going to, I wouldn't sit here and believe they're going to walk in next year and win 12 games or anything, but you've got 2 years now to really build this roster if you're Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn the way that you want to.
Now, all of this stuff going on, obviously, Dalton, for some of us ne'er-do-wells, us bottom feeders, we already at this point of the season start looking at the NFL draft. And right now, my New York Football Giants, if they fail to win another game, will indeed have the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. They have a very easy schedule here. They could very well win 2 or even 3 of these final 4 games based on who's in front of them. Some other teams that are hoping to get to that number 1 spot that might be tanking themselves. But it is fascinating. And even more fascinating is the fact that the Giants don't need a quarterback. And our little friend over here is looking for one. He's looking for a quarterback. So tell me about it. Do you see a world where if the Giants did end up, dare I say, near the top of the draft, if not in the top spot, would they trade it, dare do I say, to their New York counterparts here who are so desperate, obviously, to find their quarterback of the future?
I think they would trade it to anybody who gives them fair or better value, right? And I think
agree.
Darren Muji's also going to be wary of the price because he won those trades as the seller before during the trade deadline, but you don't want to then go and buy in too high on one specific pick or one specific player if that's going to mortgage your future also. So I think the thing to keep in mind here is the Jets are not going to be the only team in that mix. The Raiders are certainly, I think, going to be in that mix, and if they need to trade up, they will do it. The Arizona Cardinals and their situation with Kyler Murray, it sounds like they're likely to cut ties. They're going to need a quarterback. They're picking, I believe, number 6 or 8 right now, somewhere in that range. They could trade up into that range. And yeah, maybe a wild card team like, say, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been looking for a franchise quarterback for a while. The Jets are not going to be the only team in that bidding if they are in there. And the problem for this year's draft is it really only looks like there's 2 quarterbacks that are now going to go up in that range. Indiana's Fernando Mendoza and Oregon's Dante Moore. So the scarcity of it makes it even more urgent for some of these teams to try to get one of these 2 guys if they feel good enough about them being a franchise guy.
Yeah, I see it. Well, I do see a world. I mean, the Jets and Giants don't make trades with each other very often, but if that scenario, and we're a long way away from that actually happening, like I said, I think the Giants are going to win a couple more games and they're probably not going to be in that number 1 slot. But I believe that, look, the Giants, they don't need a quarterback and they're going to want multiple things. They're trying to rebuild that roster and get it right. And I think that the Jets would be a very viable trade partner because of all the extra assets that they have. So it could be a wonderful, wonderful world, dare I say, where that would all be ready to go. Why don't you play that video for? I think if you play that video, Paul, that will get Dalton in the spirit to really believe in what we're talking about. Go ahead. I'll sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Go ahead. Smile, for crying out loud. He's got
Boy,
the sweetest smile. Why wouldn't you want him on your team? Boy
that
Green is
that is that was
ooh,
really something.
it's a
That
love
that
affair.
I hadn't seen that. Did you guys make that yourself, or who
No, we
made who
didn't.
Yes,
made that?
yeah. So I'll give
We
a
did.
shout out. It's my buddy Nicholas from the Same
Nice.
Old Jets podcast. Several weeks ago, he says, "Paul, I want to give you this. I haven't put it anywhere, but
I got a
if
gift.
if the time comes, I want you to release this to the masses." I said, "Okay,
Fantastic.
sounds good to me, Nicholas." And
Hey, listen,
well,
the Jets don't have a problem taking talented quarterbacks. They have a problem further developing them, right? I
Yes.
mean, so that's the thing. The hard part is not drafting him. The hard part is when he gets in the building and figuring out what we can do. Because we've seen it. Look, Sam Darnold went elsewhere. He was pretty good. Geno Smith went elsewhere. He was pretty good for a bit, right? We got to figure out how to develop these guys once they're in the building. Drafting him is always the fun and flashy part, but you got to figure out what to do with him once he's in the building.
all right, so Dalton, tell me if you would take this deal. So Field Yates, our buddy from ESPN, the Mothership, I've had him on the show a lot of times. I love Field. In his mock draft 2.0 that dropped this morning for the Mothership for ESPN, the Giants currently have the number 1 overall pick. Again, doesn't necessarily based on Lurch. We look at the final 4 games. They probably won't have the number 1 overall pick. But for this mock draft scenario, we're here on December 10th. He had the Jets trading up from 7 to 1. And here's what the Jets would have to give up in his scenario. The 7th overall pick, that's their own first-round pick. 18th overall, which is the Colts. I think that's only going to be higher, quite frankly. And then a day 2 pick in 2026. Now, for those who are less initiated, day 2 pick is a second or third rounder. Jets don't have a third rounder because of the Hassan Reddick trade. So they only have 2 seconds, their own second, and then the Dallas Cowboys second. So 2 firsts and a second to move up from 7 to 1. Would you do that, Dalt Wasserman? You're a Jets fan. You're a Jets fan just like me. And what say you?
Man, I'm inclined to keep both of those second round picks. If I could just do it for the 2 firsts, for what number right now, number 7, and what I think the Colts are at number 18 or so. Is it somewhere in there?
That's right. Yep.
I would try to hang on still to one of those day 2 picks, because all of a sudden then you're taking a quarterback and then just 1 second round pick, only 2 top 100 picks. And the Jets have a lot of needs on their roster, right? You can basically look at almost every position group and go, yeah, they need an extra player there, right? And on top of all, just a ton of things they have to figure out with their starting lineup. If I could keep that second round pick, or maybe push it to some combination of later picks, or maybe dip into next year a little bit, I think that would help a little bit more. But that's the framework that it's going to start with, is those 2 first rounders, whether it's the Giants, whether it could be the Tennessee Titans are going to be in that mix also, right? If they are picking first overall, they don't need a quarterback. They have Cam Ward, and I think it's the perfect trade down year for them to try to accumulate talent throughout their team as well. Need a lot of help at receiver and some other spots on their team. So I do think that framework is at least pretty close to it. If I could do it while keeping both the second round picks, I think I'd be more inclined, but also it depends on how much they like whichever quarterback they're going to take.
We're talking with PFF's Dalton Wasserman. It's our Inside the NFL segment, live every single Wednesday. The Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Today's broadcast brought to you by our lovely friends at Box Drop Syracuse, the sofa and mattress outlet, where you can save 30 to 70%. Why wouldn't you want to do that, especially around the holidays? Hey, listen, all week long, Dalton, I've been hearing a lot of whining out of South Bend, Indiana, for those, poor Irish who didn't make the playoff, which, by the way, I do think they got robbed, but the whining is not serving them well. The AD getting in front of a microphone, someone ought to stop him before he gets in front of another microphone and says another dumb thing, like we have the greatest 10-game winning streak in the history of college football, when like 4 other teams this year actually have 10-game winning streaks that are far more impressive than Notre Dame. So, again, ill-spoken words have never been more clear. So they need to stop doing that. But where was I? Whining in the NFL. This is what led me to this question. A team that should be out there whining, to me, is the Baltimore Ravens, who really were robbed. I want to talk to you about that play, Isaiah Likely. And if you want to vamp on the Aaron Rodgers deflection that came back to him, and somehow they vowed that he had possession and his knee was down. I didn't see that one coming either. But wow, I mean, that was a pivotal game. Now, these two teams will play again. And Baltimore perhaps might still have a way to win this division. It seems to be getting fainter and fainter, but they still have another matchup. There's still games to play, and neither one of them's playing all that great. So anything could happen in that division. But give me your thoughts. I mean, what did you think about that? I mean, I honestly felt like that was a god-awful call. I wonder if you've agreed or not.
I mean, it just speaks to, we've been doing this for years. There's certain times in a game where we have no idea what a catch is, and how many steps does it take, the football move. Then it seems, what is it? Isn't there? You have to control. You have to complete the catch to the process, all the way through the process of the ground. You have to survive the ground, but only in the end zone, which was the case with, or sort of the case with Likely there. I don't know at this point. I don't know how to solve this. The Rodgers play is one that was just weird. I've actually just never seen.
Bizarre.
Obviously, a handful of times a year we see quarterbacks catch their own passes, but for the possession to be declared that quick and then him considered down. Obviously, he was down with the ball in his hands, but man, to watch that in real time and come up with the call there is quite interesting. But the likely play, I mean, it feels like now we do this 4 or 5 times a year. What is a catch? How long do you have to have the football for it to be a catch? And the contrast of those two plays is interesting because Rodgers had it for about a split second.
They say catch, right? So he's down.
Right. He's down, but likely had it for a lot longer. And then
in the end zone, which is like once you cross, you're in. You can fumble the ball as soon as the tip of that ball touches the line. You're in. It doesn't even matter. And then we're going to be suspect about a catch where a guy clearly got 2 feet and had possession. And we say, well, yeah, but the third foot of the thing and the fig of a jig and there's 5 other things that has to happen. Did you see that statement they put out where there are 3 things to a catch? I was like, good grief. What are these officials doing? A nightmare.
We've talked even on here, over recent weeks about certain parts of inconsistent officiating, and that's just another one in the bucket that I'm sure they're going to look at again in the offseason and probably not touch it and just be like, well, this is how we have to see it, and these are judgment calls. So, again, there's times it feels like almost once a week where we don't even know what a catch and what is or isn't at this point, and likely really unfortunate because, those failures in the red zone for the Ravens were really that's the reason they lost that game. They call that a catch. They might win that game because that's where they were struggling all day.
Now, Dalton, these two teams
for either one of those two teams, Notre Dame or the Ravens, by the way. Go ahead, Boy Green. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, just to follow up on that, those two teams play again. Do you believe that, like, hey, now that Pittsburgh has the advantage, right, winning that one in Baltimore, and then we'll flip it to the other side later, is Steelers going to end up winning the AFC North and Baltimore's on their outside finding their way in? Or do you still think the Ravens are going to find a way to get back?
It's getting tougher to believe in the Ravens because, yes, they lost that game because of their failures in the red zone. They moved the ball well, but they only went 2 for 6 in the red zone. But they have several real issues on their team. Their offensive line is a lot more average than it used to be. Lamar Jackson was better in this past game against Pittsburgh, but he's been really inconsistent this year throwing the football. And their defense, they just have no pass rush. They cannot rush the passer, and that could be an issue even in a game like this week. They're coming to Cincinnati to play Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow shredded them the last time on Thanksgiving night when they played in Baltimore. If you can't get to the quarterback in this league, you have a major problem. So the Ravens, look, they have an uphill battle to climb here. I right now, 4 weeks to go, I would take Pittsburgh because they just find their way to scratch and claw their way to enough wins. But the Ravens, can they find it? Absolutely, they can find it. But they're running out of time here. They got several problems.
Yeah, if you want to grab the Steelers schedule, Boy Green, you can real quick. I'm taking a quick peek at the Ravens here. Listen to this, folks, okay? You just mentioned it. They play the Bengals this week on the road, 1:00 game on Saturday. The following week, they host the Patriots, okay? And that's a Sunday night game. Then they're at Green Bay, who, as we know, is playing pretty good. And then finally, you have that last game of the season at the Steelers, which, could decide it, but it could be well over by then. BG, do you have the Steelers? You want to just give us a quick on the Steelers? What are the Steelers' 4 games?
Yeah, here's the final 4 games. Right, here's the final 4 games. Home for Miami. That's the Monday Night Football game this week.
Easy peasy.
At Detroit. At Cleveland. Home for Baltimore.
Easier path. I mean, I know at Cleveland can be a little bit of a, but, it's still the Cleveland Browns. I mean, good defense, but, reasonable for the Steelers to get that. So I see potentially 2 wins before they get to that thing. I don't know. What do you think, Dalton? Go ahead.
I would not. Don't go easy peasy
on that.
Short
that
Dolphins game. That's they've won. I believe it's 5 out of 6, and they've really gotten at least some rhythm on their offense, centering it around Devon Achane. And the way that the Steelers at times struggle to kind of move laterally, and they struggle with speed and outside things on their defense, that is not a gimme at all. I'm actually in the process of going through, figuring out notes for our preview on our show. And I don't really know who I'm going to pick to win that game yet. That Dolphin team looks a lot better. I know they're still a bit shorthanded. Obviously, not having Tyreek Hill hurts, but they've figured out the groove of what they want to be on offense, and their defense has played better in recent weeks. That is not by any means a gimme. So I do think the Ravens still have a harder road there because that's just ridiculous, the 4 games they have to play. But the Steelers don't have any gimmies, and we know they're inconsistent as well.
Dalton, you, again, I sometimes say this, and I mean it. You at PFF, you're uniquely qualified when we have this crossover between college football and the NFL because of everything that you do. And the Notre Dame AD came out and said that he's going to do everything in his power to retain Marcus Freeman despite interest from other college football teams and NFL teams. And that's been happening the last couple of years. And he says he will rework his contract so every year, no matter what happens, he will remain the highest paid or among the highest paid in all of college football. I ask you, is the interest warranted? The Bears sniffed around it. The Giants, I hear, could sniff around Marcus Freeman. There's been other teams over the years that have, sort of kicked the tires on Marcus Freeman, who has no prior NFL experience. I'm curious, throwing it over to you, Dalton. Is all the hubbub about him warranted? If he made the leap, would he be another one of those success stories of wildly successful college football coach goes to the pros and continues to be wildly successful? What do you think?
I think it's entirely possible. I think the hype is certainly warranted. He's an outstanding coach. He's a terrific leader of his team. More than anything, he keeps his team very even keel through tough moments. And he really is a guy who relates to young players well, especially. Do I think it could work in the NFL? I do. I think he would be more of that CEO type of head coach, and I would be curious to see what kind of connections he has with any NFL coaches and who he would bring in on his staff as far as play callers. But certainly, Freeman is a terrific leader and a fantastic coach who knows how to get his team through adversity. Made the national championship game last year after a loss to Northern Illinois. This year, you mentioned it, they won 10 in a row after losing 2 very close games at the beginning. And, I don't think any of this reflects poorly on him at all, right? I don't think right now he's taking another college job. If there was one he was going to take, it would have been LSU, but they were after Lane Kiffin the whole time. So I think the hype is certainly warranted. I don't know that he would actually make the jump this year. It feels like now Notre Dame has a major chip on the shoulder going into next year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. And look, I have a team that's in need of a coach, the New York Football Giants. And as much as I respect Marcus Freeman, I do not. That would not, to me, be a good selection for the Giants. I just there's no paper trail here to say to me that this guy's going to be successful. This is a big roll of the dice. The last thing the Giants need to be doing anyway is rolling the dice on a coach. They need as close to a sure thing as you can find. I don't know who that is and if that guy's even out there, but I don't know that I would put my money on Marcus Freeman at this point if I were the Giants in their particular situation. That doesn't mean that he couldn't make the jump or that he wouldn't be a good coach. I just wouldn't roll the dice. BG, you have a problem with that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a problem with consistency, Lurchmeister. That's my job here. I got to hold everyone accountable. How am I being
inconsistent? Let's hear it.
One of the coaches you sort of were titillated by, he's no longer on the board, and Dalton Westman mentioned it was Lane Kiffin. Like, yes. Okay, sure, he had a cup of coffee in the NFL, but he sucked like 20 years ago, and he's been a wildly successful college coach. How is he any different than Marcus Freeman?
He's been at a number of blue chip college places where he's been successful. He does have NFL experience, albeit it wasn't successful. But I think a lot of times, and we have seen this a lot in the NFL, BG, where a coach doesn't have success first time around, gets a chance to kind of breathe and do some other things, and then comes back and delivers. So that was my hope with Kiffin. Plus, also, you have to factor in the fact that he already has the relationship with the quarterback and that they've already worked together, that putting that playbook together and figuring that on a pro level. Plus, the guy, I mean, let's face it, he was born into a family called the NFL. His father, Monty Kiffin, is one of the all-time great NFL coordinators in the history of coordinators. So you put all that in the blender, and I think there's a little more to offer there than Freeman does. I love Freeman's prospects. But as a Giants fan, I don't want Marcus Freeman with the Giants. It's too big a roll of the dice. I mean, if it paid off, it'd be phenomenal. But there's no way I would risk my franchise on that because there's a chance it could bomb. And that would be awful if you were a Giants fan. So that's why I would be against it. Nothing against the guy, just against the risk factor at this particular point.
With all due respect. All right, I got you. Okay. I hear what you're saying.
All right, let's talk about some of the games this week, Dalton. And one of them you already started to mention, but let's dig in on it really quick, is the Ravens and the Bengals. Let's start there. Look, the Bengals, I guess you'd have to say, are dead now. I think they had to run it. They now would finish with a losing record. They now have 9 losses. So the best they could do if they run the table is 8-9, and they still have tough games, including this week against the Ravens. But obviously, as we just said, the Ravens are kind of in must-win world here. They can't lose any more ground to the Steelers. So give me your thought on that one. Where do we start with that one? Are the Bengals still going to be game here? They're home for this game. Weather, of course, could always be a factor in Cincinnati. Give me your thoughts on the Ravens and the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, we just watched Joe Burrow 2 weeks ago just absolutely carve them up, right? And the Ravens' biggest problem on defense right now is they don't get to quarterbacks. In our grading scale, they're the third worst pass rushing team in the league. They just have no viable one-on-one pass rusher up front. Even earlier in the year, they traded Odafe Owe, who was arguably their best guy, off the edge, right? They can't get home at all without blitzing. And then when they blitzed Joe Burrow a couple of weeks ago, he absolutely killed them. So it's a real problem. If you're walking into Cincinnati with Burrow and Chase and Higgins coming at you and you can't rush the passer, you could get shredded again. And it's going to be cold outside. It doesn't seem like it's going to be messy or snowy or anything like that. But the Ravens have real problems to figure out here. They have to be able to find some sort of pressure on Burrow. And then look, Lamar Jackson, he's going to have to play, I think, his best game of the year. He just has not played consistently well this year. He does not look 100%. And the run game all the way around just doesn't look as good for Baltimore. So I really believe they're in trouble. I think the Ravens are in trouble this week against Burrow because Burrow's coming out his first 2 games after this injury just red hot.
Let me throw one more random one at you here, Dalton, because Phillip Rivers is back in the air now, the 44-year-old. I hope he starts on Sunday. That would be amazing to see. Phillip Rivers, again, I mentioned it at the beginning. Shout out to Steve Weish, who's a longtime NFL Network employee, and he's worked with the Pro Football Hall of Fame for a long time. If Phillip Rivers gets signed to the active roster, which would have to happen if he was going to start on Sunday, his Hall of Fame clock would reset. So, again, it's 5 years after you retire, don't play football. You're eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Is Phillip Rivers a Pro Football Hall of Famer? He doesn't have any Super Bowls. He's put up some video game numbers, but I'm curious your thoughts.
He's always him and Matt Ryan are the two weird ones, right? As guys who didn't win Super Bowls, and Phillip Rivers never even got to make one. Now, again, that's never always one guy's fault for as much as everybody wants to make it about the quarterback. I'm more lenient with the Hall of Fame bit. I would say yes at some point, whether you want to debate first ballot, whatever that first ballot may be, or however you want to do it. Maybe a good stretch, maybe a good stretch of play with the Colts at 44 years old will bolster the case. But I would say yes. But I'm also of the boat of like, listen, if you think a guy's borderline or you're like kind of deserves it, just let him in, man. Like I hate what baseball does, where it's like we have years where nobody makes it in or one guy makes it in, and it's just like, and you have to have this number of votes, and it's all this politicking. With just let the guys in, man. It's a museum. Like I've been there. It's cool. I'd rather see more guys in there than not. So I would lean towards yes, but I'm in the boat where I'm like, yeah, him. Matt Ryan in the career he had, top 10 in passing yards all time. Eli Manning, I know there's a lot of debate about him. I think Eli Manning should be a Hall of Famer. Absolutely. I'm much more lenient. I'm not running the show over there by any means on the other side of the state of Ohio here, but I'm just like, listen, if you have a significant hunch that a guy's a Hall of Famer, he's probably a Hall of Famer. I think Phillip Rivers should be in.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Hey, look, lots of good games this week, Dalton. So let's jump through a few more of them here. Out of Chiefstead. Chiefs get the Chargers this week in Kansas City. The Chiefs currently sit under 500 at 6-7. The Chargers obviously got that big win last minute as it might be over the weekend. So give me your thoughts on Chargers Chiefs. Are the Chargers essentially going to be, the wooden stake to Dracula here and right through the heart, and we are finished? Let's move on to another year. This one will not include the Chiefs in the playoffs. Give me your thoughts.
It's going to be a tight because the Chargers have been.
Whoopsie. Looks like we got a little
on internet. There we go. You
situation.
guys got me? We good?
Just start that answer over again. We just had
there we go. We're good.
Yeah, I thought it was a dramatic pause, which I'm like,
you're good. You're good. But no, I mean the Chargers, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are as almost dead as you could possibly be, right? This would be the final nail of the coffin. I actually think with a loss and a Texans win, they'd be officially eliminated from a wild card spot. But if you're looking at this situation with the Chargers, though, they have a very hard schedule down the stretch here with their last 4 games. They have right now the worst offensive line in football. You saw it with as much as Justin Herbert. He's trying to play through, and he's getting hit seemingly every play. So the Chiefs absolutely have a chance to win this game, and their road to the playoff is essentially catching the Chargers, right? And the Chargers, with their hard schedule, still need to win 1 or 2 more games here to lock themselves into a spot. But it's going to be hard on both sides because the Chargers' defense is very good, and the Chiefs have been struggling. Patrick Mahomes has been struggling, and then Justin Herbert's been struggling on this offensive line. Chris Jones could have an absolute field day. I think you're going to get a really good game. It could look a lot like it did against Houston this past week, where it's ugly, it's punting back and forth, it's one or two crucial decisions that it could come down to. I have the Chiefs winning by a field goal at home. I have them bouncing back, but it is not going to be easy at all, and I can see it going either way.
All right, let me get another one out there. Bills-Patriots. This started the entire Patriots winning streak way back when. Patriots are vying for the number 1 seed. It doesn't seem like they're worrying about the AFC East anymore. That seems sort of unlocked. What do you think about this matchup?
Honestly, I think isn't it on the line? The Bills opened as favorites, and I don't really get it. I know they have Josh Allen. They can, the days when they can run the football, they're really good. But I still don't have a whole lot of faith in their defense. I don't. And New England went in there. They're the only team to go into Buffalo and win this year. And I know Will Campbell, the left tackle's out. That's a concern, especially if Joey Bosa's back. But I don't trust this Bills defense. I really don't. And I think the New England's defense has gotten better as the year has gone on. Drake May just continues to be on cruise control. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. The Patriots, I'd like to see them find some more balance running the football with Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. But if the Bills are going to win, it's going to have to be a shootout. And once again, just like it's been in so many weeks, it's, hey, Josh Allen, save us when our defense is overmatched. I don't know. I really think coming into this game, I think New England's just a better team. I think they're going to win at home.
I know you're ready for Commanders Giants, big one.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to talk about that game with you. But Packers Broncos is one I want to talk to you about. Ooh. This one is in Denver. A 4:25 game on CBS. Let's talk about that. We've got an 11-2 team, the Broncos, number 1 seed right now in the AFC, and the Packers kind of surging here. Give me your thoughts about that matchup. It'll be a road game, obviously, for the Packers.
What a ball game. What a ball game, first and foremost, man. You got two good teams that are really good in a lot of areas, both of them with great pass rushes. These two quarterbacks, I think, under pressure, that's really going to be the key. Who handles pressure better? Micah Parsons coming at Bo Nix, right? Denver's defensive line and the crew that they have with Nick Bonito and those guys, that's a lot of fun against a Packers offensive line that is good some weeks and not so great some others. And the big guy I'm watching in this game, man, what Christian Watson has done for this Packers team since he's gotten healthy, the effect it's had on Jordan Love, basically what they were trying to accomplish in drafting Matthew Golden as the big speed threat, they've actually gotten it now out of Christian Watson, and it's opened up their entire offense and really spread defenses so thin down the field, and Jordan Love is raging hot right now. This is going to be an awesome football game. Two teams with a lot of weapons, with great defenses, great pass rushes, and again, I think it comes down to which quarterback performs better on those handful of plays where they're under pressure and they got to make throws staring down the barrel.
Dalton, last question here. It's the Matthew Stafford Bowl, baby. It's the LA Rams, the Detroit Lions, 10-3, 8-5. The Lions got a big win against the Dallas Cowboys on that Thursday night game last week. Is this game going to be as good as I hope it is?
I think it could be. It's going to come down to Jared Goff and really his ability to handle pressure. And the Lions, as always, need to be able to run the football well, because if they don't run the ball well and control the pace of this game, they're going to have a serious problem. Matthew Stafford, this is the best he's ever looked. I think he should win the MVP, barring a collapse down the stretch here. The Rams' offense is just raging hot over the last 6 weeks. They can run it. They can throw it with anybody. Puka Nakua's a monster. Matt Stafford's throwing the lights out of the ball. Devontae Adams is unstoppable in the red zone. I mean, they've just got everything. I do still believe, I know they had the fluky loss to Carolina with the turnovers and stuff. I still think the Rams are the best team in football. I think this could be a very good game, but if the Lions want to win it, they've got to run the football as well as they have all season. They have to keep Matthew Stafford off the field, because that's the only way to stop him right now.
Yeah. All right, Dalton Wasserman, always good to talk to you, my friend. Always good to get up to date. Good luck in your picks this weekend. Closing in on the holidays, I've been asking, as you know, every single guest, Boy Green, a holiday question to say goodbye. So before we say goodbye, let's go Christmas meals, Christmas food, whether it's a cookie, whether it's something that grandma has made for years, whether it's something your wife loves. What is a Dalton Wasserman Christmas tradition? Something you got to get,
Tradition. I mean, you can't go wrong with gingerbread cookies, right? As long as they're done right. Sure. Yeah, and then I'll tell you, for dinner, there's been a couple of years of family dinner. We've ponied up and gotten a prime rib in there instead of the usual ham. That's some
Christmas
living right
prime
there.
rib, baby. A little steak.
Yeah, that's some good living right there.
Pour one out for PFF. All right, Dalton's doing
nice.
pretty well over there. All right, nice.
And that one's all mama. She's buying the prime rib. I'm not, maybe every once in a while, I don't know, but when she's hosting, she knows how to host. That's for sure.
Is that where you go to your mom's?
Yeah. I'll be down there again this year, and no, she certainly knows how to host it. Upstate New York, Western New York native, man. She's up from Plattsburgh up there, and
wow.
Went to University of Buffalo Law School over there, so she knows the area. Really grew up during the prime Jim Kelly days over there with the 4 straight Super Bowls.
Oh wow,
so.
There you go.
Yeah,
right.
So trust me, she knows how to host a party, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whichever you prefer, man. It's great.
She's throwing down the prime rib. That's pretty good. Not bad. Who needs Christmas cookies when you can have prime rib? That's not bad. All right. Thank you, Dalton Wasserman. Have a good one, my friend. Thanks for checking in as always.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys as always.
All right, there he is, PFF, our NFL insider, Dalton Wasserman, offering some insight. Boy, the slate of games is pretty good this week, BG. Again,
very good.
We touted it last week, and I think we're back on the bandwagon this week. The one deficit, I would say, is the Sunday and Monday night football games. A little, I mean, because the Vikings have fallen so far, you've got Vikings, Cowboys on Sunday night. I don't know that I'm, going to carve out some time for that one.
I watch them no matter what it is, so it doesn't matter. But no,
I kind of too. But I don't know. This is I'm not gonna okay, let me get the pizza and beer ready for this baby and be there before the kickoff happens. I don't know. I don't see that as being a terrific game to watch. If you're a fan of one of those two teams, fine. But I'm not, and I just don't see a huge interest in that game. And then Dolphins Steelers. The Dolphins have made that more interesting, but that's the Monday night game. Dolphins at Steelers. I don't know.
Well,
that's
I like
not floating my boat either.
Again, that one doesn't scream Rams Lions, but I think the interesting thing for me about that one is there's all the storylines.
Implications.
Well, not even the implications. It was like the storylines of like Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, Minka Fitzpatrick. All those guys were traded between the Steelers and Dolphins before the season. Dolphins are playing well too, obviously, as Dalton was sort of saying there. They have the same record as the Chiefs. We're all talking about what are the Chiefs' playoff chances. The Dolphins and Chiefs have the same record. So the Dolphins perhaps getting some love for a backdoor crazy finish potentially. So and then Aaron Rodgers always and Steelers iconic and all those other things. But yeah, it doesn't have the same sex appeal, but hey, that's all right. A lot of people don't like staying up anyway, so now you get the better games early.
I guess we got some folks in the comments getting into the food theme, so
great.
Go for it. Bad Shaw saying the following. We do surf and turf on Christmas Eve with my best friend's family, prime rib and king crab legs. Last year, we had some lobster, too. I know he says claws there. I know he meant king crab legs.
Yeah.
King crab. Ooh, hey,
okay.
You like that, Boy Green? I'm not a pescatarian, as they say. I wish I could eat fish because it's very healthy for you. Unfortunately, I hate the taste of 90% of fish. So unfortunately,
my problem is I hate the smell of fish. Like it's just sort of
smell is
nauseating.
part of the taste. It's all kind of connected,
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So one of the things my mother used to make when I was a kid, it could have been a TV dinner, was fish sticks, and those made me gag. Okay. I did not like those at all, but that's what she made. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm eating this.
Do it.
The only thing that excites me more than king crab and everything else apparently that's happening over there is Lurch. We are on the precipice of history.
We are.
I don't know if you're aware of that, but we are.
History. It's 3 in the making.
We are 9 subscribers away from 400,
single digits,
baby. We are now. So let's go. So let's get it rolling, people. Come on now. Let's go. And 9 subscribers away is how far we are at this point from this all happening. So, folks,
9 people and a nice little. I know it's baseball. You want to know football season, but it's a Bobby Mercer autographed baseball out of my personal collection. Yeah, very nicely autographed. Ball's in perfect condition, and I'll give you the beautiful little case with it too. All right, you can figure out how you want to display it.
So let's make this clear.
We are a diehard Yankee fan for
perhaps,
Christmas, maybe. What a great gift that would be! You can get it before Christmas if you hurry. I gotta ship this thing. I need some time.
True. Yeah, it's December 10th. Folks, here is the link we're talking about here. It's youtube.com/MC Show Digital. Although I may have to adjust this. I believe we're /ats now. So take
really?
that for what
/ at
you will.
MC Show Digital?
Yeah, I
Oh,
believe as I look at it on here, I'm going to have to adjust
Okay.
this. And I will do
Oh,
this
really?
live to make sure it's they've switched it back and forth now. So now
Okay.
here it is updated
YouTubers.
/at
At
MC Show
MC
Digital.
Okay.
So,
you go.
but as soon as we reach 400, which again, right now I'm hitting refresh to make sure I keep track of this thing. We're 9 subscribers away. We have 154 people in the room. There's a great chance that 9 of the 154 that are watching right now in this moment of time are not subscribed.
Grab and get us over the top and could win a Mercer baseball. Imagine if you're one of these 9 and you win the ball.
Yeah.
Just for being one of 9. No cost, no obligation, no nothing.
Yeah, the shipping will be free. Yeah, Manchild will send that right to you.
Shipping free.
And
yeah, shipping on my dime. How about that? How about
see?
that? I'm paying for this
Perfect.
nonsense, so I can send you a ball.
Yeah, it's that wonderful. And folks, if you're subscribed and you have a chance to win the 400 and you don't get the baseball, let's just say that's possible because 399 of you will not win. You're still eligible for all the other free giveaways.
The $400 golf club.
Yeah, the $400 golf club. What if we get to 475 subscribers? Maybe I'll pony something up. 450, 425. Let's keep incentivizing.
I have some items. I'm going to roll them out very soon.
There you go.
I'm rolling out some cool items. I have some cool, unique things. So, a little weird, different kind of things, but interesting little trinkets. So, yeah, those are all coming.
9 away, baby. Help us get there right now.
Okay, do it. All right. We got to just give our sponsors a little bit of kudos here today. Today's broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Box Drop Syracuse. So let's just take 30 seconds and then BG and I will regroup. If you want to get in the comments, now to be a great time to do it. Any questions, anything that's on your mind outside of crab legs and prime rib, we'll be happy to talk about it. Games coming up this weekend, how you see the futures of your teams, et cetera, et cetera. All right, be right back. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Right here. Considering that we sleep nearly 1/3 of our lives, buying the right mattress is essential. At Box Drop Syracuse Mattress and Sofa Outlet, you'll get a unique experience, one that saves you 30 to 70% off retail prices on top-of-the-line mattresses like Sapphire Sleep. At Box Drop, you'll schedule a mattress fitting appointment and get one-on-one service directly with Paul, the owner. No middleman. Family-owned, huge savings, no-pressure sales designed to save you time and money. And now Box Drop Syracuse has sectional sofas and love seats as well, with prices designed to fit your budget. Box Drop Syracuse Mattress and Sofas. Set up your appointment today at boxdropsyracuse.com. All right, we are back. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. You see it right under my name there in tiny, tiny print. Become a subscriber today. Chances to win free stuff. All right, comments are willing and available to you right now if you want to jump on in the comments. I saw Jamie was out there on the roads. I sent him a little response, Boy Green. He said to us, you guys look toasty warm. My prediction going to be over 10 head coaching jobs available on Black Monday. So he's expecting some firings. What do you think? That's a good little comment.
Sure.
Would it get to 10? Obviously, we know the Giants need somebody right now.
Okay. So that's one. Titans. Well, Titans already gone, so that's 2
Titans,
that are
that's
open.
2. That's correct.
They're already
sitting
open.
in limbo. So those 2 teams are definite. So are we going to get 8 more out of the NFL? Okay, I'm looking at it.
Let's go through. I've got the standings in front of me, so we'll go by each team, and you tell me if there's
I'll give you thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yep. Okay. So Buffalo Bills.
No.
Miami Dolphins.
I think no now. I think that they have given McDaniel a vote of confidence here. He has turned it around this season. They opted to go for the GM firing. I think he's got at least one more season to prove it. If he has another disastrous season, he could be gone by mid-year next year. But I think they're going to keep him.
Okay. Well, obviously New England may have the coach of the year, not fired coach. So
Jets,
he's not going to. Jets, no. Okay, let's go AFC North. John Harbaugh.
Boy. It's getting interesting. If they fall apart here down the stretch, I think it's possible.
Okay.
But again, it's kind of like Tomlin. I know we're going to get to the Steelers in a moment.
Yep.
Sometimes even great coaches, and I think both Harbaugh and Tomlin are great coaches. I really do.
Yes,
I think
I concur. I agree 100%.
Okay. Both of them probably will find themselves in the Hall of Fame when their careers are done. All right. But that aside, probably. We'll see. Still maybe a little bit more longevity needed, but I think Tomlin's already a Hall of Famer, and I think Harbaugh's getting darn close if he's not already there.
Yeah. I mean, both have similar resumes of Super Bowls apiece.
I do think as good and consistent and everything that's gone right for those guys over all those years, there is a thing about the message just not being received anymore. Somehow things have gotten stale, and that not that neither one of them can coach anymore. I think they're both great coaches, but that a change of scenery might actually be good for both them and perhaps for their organization. Now, I think those two organizations will regret those firings when they do what the Giants and the Jets and everyone else out there that can't find a coach has been doing. And that is, oh God, another bad one. Didn't guess right on that one, because it becomes a guessing game. And you got a sure thing, but that sure thing isn't delivering championship level stuff these days. So maybe there is a parting of the ways there. I think that the Ravens have to fall apart here down the stretch in order for that to be a possibility.
So you're going to say no right
convinced. So I'm going to say no. I think the Ravens would be foolish at this point. Continue.
Okay, and thank you, Siri. We didn't ask for your opinion. And you said Steelers right now is no.
Steelers are close. It's so close.
I mean, they're in first place in the AFC North after winning that Ravens game, so I imagine no. Right.
The answer is no. Okay, I'm sticking to no. The Steelers always live by the world of consistency. I think they're going to stick to their guns. So no.
Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Boy, oh boy, that's up. That is.
I'd put him on the list. I think he gets fired.
I think so. Okay, I'm going with you. I'm going with you on that. Yes.
Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski.
I guess not. I don't see any. I don't hear any rumbling. I don't see any writing on the wall. No, I think he's good. I think he's fine.
All right, so we're only at 3 right now. We have the 2 that are actually fired and one
that we've picked now. Right.
Okay.
And if you disagree on any of these with me, BG,
let us know.
Okay.
100%. AFC South, D'Amico Ryans.
No, they're good.
Okay. I don't think so either. Shane Steichen of the Colts.
No, I think where it is, it's not his fault. No. So he's fine.
I'm a little bit, don't,
really?
well, because unfortunately, God rest his soul, Jim Irsay, all the Irsay daughters are now running the team.
Look at what he did with Jones for that.
I guess.
I know it's just a half a season, but I mean, it's early in his career still, and he did something there, and then he's bad luck. No, I don't think he goes because of bad luck. No.
All right, fine. You convinced me. Jaguars, Liam Cohen. I think that's been a raving success. Absolutely not.
No chance.
Titans, again, their head coach already fired, so they're already on the list.
Still sitting at 3. We're almost through the AFC. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to the AFC West. Denver, obviously not. Sean Payton's been phenomenal. Pete Carroll with the Raiders. I say yes. I think he gets one and done.
Wow. Boy, they were awful excited about having him.
Yeah, well, that turned quickly.
Gosh, do they do it? Do they pull the trigger on that?
I think he gets fired. Which is too bad. It's embarrassing. How many one and dones are you going to do? Antonio Pierce and now.
Would they? All right, I'm going to go yes with you. It's been that bad. It's been that bad. Did they want him to be their next quarterback developer guy?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. All right, I'm with you. All right, we're up to 4, but I'm uncertain on that one. But I'm going to go along with it. 4.
All right, Jim Harbaugh of the Chargers.
No, he's fine.
Okay. Andy Reid. Now, you're going to immediately say no, but before you do, Chiefs fans were calling for his head after the latest loss. They think he doesn't have his fastball anymore and thinks he should be fired.
No chance. Next.
Okay. Next. If he did, I guess your Giants would be in line for one Andy Reid.
Yeah, we'll take
All right.
No problem.
That wraps us out of the AFC. AFC is complete.
Okay.
Now let's go to the NFC. Again, the Giants are already on this list, so add them. Brian Schottenheimer, you wouldn't have him on, would you?
No.
Dallas Cowboys?
No.
Okay. I wouldn't either. I thought he's done quite frankly.
It's been surprisingly decent to me.
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
What about Nick Sirianni of the Philadelphia Eagles?
God, that thing is
He's been on Fire Watch every year, even when they won the Super Bowl.
All right. I'm going to say no, but if they lose out, yes.
Ooh.
Okay. So how about that? I'm willing to say that. If they lose out, like if they have another epic collapse like they did a couple of years ago, then yes. I think they might actually do that. But I don't see it right now. I don't see it.
Okay. So we won't.
So I'm going to say no with the caveat of if they lose out, if this thing continues to tumble, and it's tumbling at the moment.
Sure.
If it continues to tumble, could be.
All right. Washington Commanders, Dan Campbell.
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. Excuse me.
No,
I'm looking ahead.
After last year, even though this has been a disaster, they're going to give him a pass because of Daniels going down. So he's secure for now, but he better watch it next year. This goes that starts that next year like this. He could be gone before the year's out.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to put him on the list, but that's because I was looking towards the NFC North, which is next on my list. I'll just go to him. Dan Campbell of the Lions.
No chance.
Okay. All right. Obviously, it won't be Ben Johnson of the Chicago Bears. They've been performing well. Matt LaFleur, there were rumors about him earlier this year.
He's
off the hot seat.
I don't even know why he was even on the hot seat, but he's off the hot seat.
That's true. I wouldn't have got rid of him if I was the Packers, but they do whatever they're going to do. Kevin O'Connell of the Vikings?
No.
Okay. We go to the NFC. I agree. I 1,000% agree. NFC South, Raheem Morris of the Atlanta Falcons.
He's gone. He's in trouble.
I think he's
gone. So I'm going to say yes. So now we finally made it to 5.
5. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jamie. It's not looking good for you on the math.
It's not looking good for 10. Yeah, I don't know who he's thinking, but
10 is a lot. A third of the league.
If you're thinking 10, then you're thinking Steelers and Ravens are definitely on that list. You'd have to add some of those ones that we were even,
maybe
speculating on. So and now
I agree. Raheem Morris is gone. But
so we're at 5. Okay.
Panthers, Dave Canales.
No, I mean, I think their resurgence at this point has bought them another year.
And I think, more than that, I thought they've done a marvelous job. They're in the playoff hunt right now.
Yeah,
so
they're in the playoff.
Big shout out.
Okay.
Another guy in his first year, we never talk about him because no one talks about the New Orleans Saints. But Kellen Moore.
No, I just don't think they're going to do one and done here.
I don't think
that
so.
Roster is a mess.
What were the expectations?
He's done. I know they haven't won a lot of games, but I don't look at them and go like, "Ooh, what are they doing?" So now I think he's a young speculative coach that I think a lot of people were uncertain about and some were excited about, and I think the jury's still out. That's what I think. So no, I don't think the Saints are moving.
Okay, and the last one in that division, Todd Bowles of the Bucks.
No, I think they're fine. I mean, we'll see. They still probably will win that division as bad as it is. So no, Todd Bowles, he's done too much good, even if they didn't make the playoffs, to axe him at this point, I think.
Well, we'll see. You say they probably win the division. They're not tied with the Panthers, so I don't know if that's so certain. So we'll keep an eye on that.
It's not certain at all.
And the Bucks just lost to the Saints over the weekend, for Pete's sake. So we'll see.
The fact that they still are right there, despite that loss to the Saints and some other shortcomings.
Yeah, tied for first place. Yeah.
All
right, let's go to the final division, the NFC West. Jonathan Gannon of the Cardinals.
He has to go. So that gets us to 6. We've made it to 6.
Okay. Obviously, the LA Rams, Sean McVay is a no-go. Kyle Shanahan with the San Francisco 49ers. He's in the coach of the year running to me. And then Seattle, Mike McDonald. He is the only Seattle Seahawks head coach in history to have back-to-back 10-plus win seasons to start their career. He's terrific. So we got to 6.
So Jamie's got 10. We've got 6.
Okay.
If one of the big guns went, and we're talking Harbaugh or Tomlin, maybe that number gets to 7. I could see 7. I can't see 10. And I think 6 is the most likely number.
Okay, Big Al is jumping in to say a couple. So he thinks Titans, Giants, Jets, Raiders, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Arizona, Miami. The Jets are not going to do it. So I eliminate the Jets.
They're not making a Jets.
The Jets. Raiders, I could totally see it. Cleveland, I could see it with Kevin Stefanski. I could see it.
There's a chance. That's a chance. We discussed that a little bit there in that analysis. I do.
Yeah.
And continuity. It's
Minnesota, I don't see at all. Kevin
it's
O'Connell,
on him. I don't see it on him. I think it's bad ownership. It's bad scouting department. It's bad. Cleveland's just a bad organization. Frankly, Stefanski should get out of there. I think he'd be better served somewhere else. But I don't think they're going to fire him. But it could happen.
We should give some more credence to Miami. Mike McDaniel could be fired. I don't think.
Well, you heard my take on it, and my take on it is they went the GM route already. And literally, since the GM has been fired, they've been playing much better football.
But how does that make any sense?
Right. What does a GM have to do with how the team plays on the field? But you could say, hey, we exited a cancer here of our front office, and look, everybody's responding and rallying around the coach. Maybe, in some people's minds, you could create a storyline, BG, where you say, well, the incongruity, essentially, or the lack of connection in the front office to the coach soured the relationships of many in the building with the coach. And now that he's gone, everybody's on board with the coach. Like, that's the argument you could make. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but you could certainly craft that argument. If you're Mike McDaniel and you're in his camp, That's the argument that you're making. Okay.
If that's the strategy for the Dolphins, then I'm pulling. I don't know if of course everyone remembers this movie, The Batman, Dark Knight with the Joker. Heath Ledger is the Joker. He does this great scene, and I'm going to channel that here. If that's what inspires the Dolphins, I've got 10 popcorn vendors that work at Hard Rock Stadium. If you guys don't improve your play, I'm going to start firing popcorn vendors because that seems to have the same effect that firing the GM would have on winning and that makes no sense. But I
get
guess
it. But that's usually organizations do that. It's the same reason why the Giants have fired Dable, and now they're not going to. Doesn't look like they're going to fire the GM.
Which is
I
crazy.
guess it's still a chance, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to let Shane draft this year, this upcoming year. They're going to let him make decisions at least for another year.
All right, so let me ask you this, Lurch, on your Giants, right? So, okay, they fired Dable. He's the head coach. At this point, it looks like the GM is quote unquote heading the search. It sounds like a guy you're probably not going to fire. But let's say
on paper he is.
Yeah, right. So let's say they keep Shane and they hire whatever head coach you're going to hire. How long is the leash on Shane now? Or do you have Shane and this new head coach on the same timeline? Because that's the problem the Jets, unfortunately, have experienced this over much of their last 10 years. They would fire their head coach, but keep the GM. They'd keep the GM, but fire the coach, or vice versa. They'd flip-flop it. And then the guys weren't on the same timeline. The GM would be in year 4. The coach would be in year 1. GM, you better start winning. Oh, you don't win? Up, you get fired a year later. Then the head coach is on a different timeline. And so them not being hired together sometimes causes issues. I'm asking you, as the Giants guy, you keep Shane and you hire a head coach. Are they now on the same timeline? And win or lose, they keep going together? Or if you don't see what you want to see from Shane, does he get fired now? Head coach gets a new GM.
I think the latter is more likely. I think what the Giants have done here by not firing Shane and Dable together is they now have separated the two timelines. I think Shane is going to be judged year in and year out for the moment on how he drafts and the success of the moves that the Giants make, that bring talent to the roster. I think he's going to be assessed on that. And the coach is obviously going to be assessed on getting wins, taking that talent and turning it into something. If they feel that the team is lacking in talent and this guy's not drafting well, then they're going to fire the GM. And if they look at a new coach and within a year or two, let's give the guy 2 years, okay? In 2 years, that coach is not turning this around into a winning franchise. The coach is going to be fired again. So I think it's two separate things. They had it. That was the beauty of bringing those two guys in together, is that they put them kind of on the same timeline. Now the Giants have outed themselves of that. So unless they do fire Shane before we get to the draft or at some point as soon as the season ends, okay, they have screwed up that timeline. So if Shane stays, I think it's two separate timelines. And I think you evaluate the coach for what the coach is doing and you evaluate the GM for what the GM's doing. And the two will not likely be all that connected. That's what I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, Big Al. Again, Kyle Shanahan could be in the running for Coach of the Year. That makes absolutely no sense. No. He's not getting fired.
No.
Big Al, definitely Philadelphia. You're a Cowboys fan, and that's clearly where this comes from. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Things are weird in Philly.
What have you started here?
You booed the defending Super Bowl champions. I don't know. The Eagles are weird, man. Maybe they could do it. I don't know. They throw batteries at Santa, for God's sakes, around this time of year. I don't know. They're weird people over there in Philly. Not sure.
Yeah. Again, there's nothing. I don't agree with that one. Philly, like I said, if Philly loses out, then cards are back on the table. But other than that, I don't think so. There are viable names on Al's list. Cleveland is a possibility. We mentioned it. Pittsburgh is a possibility. We mentioned it. We just didn't decide to put it on our list. Minnesota, no. I know they've fallen here, but he's a good coach. They're crazy if they let him go. They're crazy. Oh my God, please do me a favor. Al, I love you. Let all these teams fire their coaches. The Giants, sit back, relax, and wait. Because I'll take a bunch of those guys. I would roster. I would take on as a coach right away. Mike Tomlin would be very quickly on my short list. O'Connell would very quickly be on my short list. So go ahead, fire them all. I say, fire them all. Let's make it 11, 12. Let's make it a baker's dozen. I mean, fire them all, man. We're a team in search of a coach. Give me more choices, because I don't love the choices that are out there right now for the New York Football Giants. But I just don't think it's going to be the kind of bloodletting that Jamie and Al seem to think it's going to be.
I don't think so.
I just don't. Teams today have gotten a little bit more savvy about, let's not so quickly, jump out of things. Is the grass really greener? Look at the teams who keep saying that and what they keep doing. The grass is not always greener. So can you just retool? Can you just, get the house in better order without a bloodletting? So, but hey, teams are going to be teams, and we'll see. We'll see. I can't predict. I'm not in those front offices, but those are my
I see this other question. This guy's definitely safe this year, but he's saying if not next year, bad shot. If Dallas and the Jets fire their coaches after the 2026 season, would I be interested in Brian Schottenheimer, Paul? No.
No,
To be honest, again, there's unique examples, right? We just talked about if Tomlin gets fired and Harbaugh gets fired. Coaches that are fired for 5 seconds. They immediately find new work. Now, there are, again, exceptions to all rules. One of those guys. Schottenheimer, a guy who had never been a head coach before, gets 2 years, gets fired at the end of his second year, would not be a guy, if I'm the Jets, running to go higher. And secondly, to be honest with you, I don't think they're firing Aaron Glenn after 2026, because after 2026, the Jets have 3 first-round picks to use. And I imagine Aaron Glenn is going to be in position to use those 3 first-round picks to use it on however they see fit. I don't think Woody Johnson would have allowed the Jets to do these trades if he didn't allow this current regime to see that through. So it would have to be an epic disaster for that to happen. But I will tell you this, I am pleasantly surprised by Brian Schottenheimer. Obviously, he's got the last name. His father was a wonderful coach for a long time. Brian has put in the work. He has been an offensive coordinator for like 30 years. So good for Shotty. I'm happy for him. But no, I have no interest in reuniting at this point for that connection. But thank you very much.
So it's not reunited and it feels so good? No?
It is not at this point.
No.
But
I don't think so.
I'm happy for Shotty.
Plus, if he failed in Dallas, now you're picking up another failure. Like, why would you do that? The guy has had 2 years and he becomes a failure. And that's going to be the guy you're going to put at
the guy who rushed you?
Yeah,
and the Jets did that before. That was inside division. Adam Gase was, relatively speaking, he had 1 good year with the Dolphins, but relatively speaking, he was terrible. Jets, literally inside your own division, 5 seconds after he gets fired, the Jets hire him. I'm like, man, it's pretty arrogant to think that your own division got it wrong and you're going to get it right inside your own division. And obviously it was a complete flame out. So before the Jets ever make that decision again of picking up an immediately fired head coach, they should just really do their homework and make sure he's the right guy, or else you're going to catch a lot of egg on the face.
Yeah. Look, for the Jets to get right, they need 2 things to happen, in my opinion, right out of the gate. They need for Glenn to work. They need for him to actually be successful as their head coach. And they need to find a quarterback. If they have those 2 things, I think everything stabilizes at all levels. Everything gets markedly improved for the Jet fans and for Jets Nation immediately. They need Aaron Glenn to work out, and they need to find their quarterback of the future. They need those 2 things. It's the same thing my Giants have been searching for all these years. Now we're back searching for a coach. We think we might have 1 piece. Maybe the quarterback, if he doesn't go out there and kill himself, okay, we might have that piece solved. Now we need the coach to go along with him. That's why this is such a critical hire for the Giants, because it does seem like they got half the equation. They need the other half now to finish the deal. And then stability should come. And the Jets, I think, need the same thing. So they need Aaron Glenn, and they need to find their quarterback of the future. They need to find their franchise. Get those 2 things. And most teams that have those 2 things are successful in the NFL. I'm trying to think of a single team in the NFL right now that doesn't have those 2 things that is successful right now. And I'm not sure that I could name a team. I'll have to just take a minute when I have a minute to look at every team and say, is there a team that has either a really bad coach or a really bad, quarterback that somehow is successful? I don't think that's possible. Just even without even looking at every team, I don't think it's possible. So, but the teams that have both those things tend to be the contenders.
The Chiefs, normally, not this year, but normally, the Chiefs and some of these other teams. Yeah.
I use the Vikings as Exhibit A. All right. So last year, they found a quarterback with a really good offensive-minded coach that worked.
Yep.
And then they were like, should we pay this guy? I mean, he struggled in the playoffs and there was some hiccups there. We got the kid here who's completely unproven and tested, but we love his leadership off the field and he practices real hard, but we haven't seen anything in game film here on the NFL level that says this guy's a winner. And they rolled the dice. And that dice roll has been a disaster. It's led to a disastrous season. It's going to lead to likely that organization searching for another quarterback and having to expend another high draft pick, probably a first rounder, to try to find another guy. All right. And maybe even inevitably jettisoning off their really good coach to some other good team who has that already and will become successful because of it.
Crazy.
So they're a great example of, if you don't have one of the 2 pieces, chances are failure. Have neither piece, disaster, you're at the bottom. All right. And if you have both, welcome to the top.
There you go.
Welcome to the cream of the cream. That's the way it goes. That's just the way it goes in the NFL. So I think, though, we've learned in recent years that having those 2 pieces is a difference maker. regardless of everything else, regardless of get a so-so defense. You go get it, I just think that's the piece.
Yeah, I concur.
So there you go. All right, BG. Any final thoughts before we get out of here on a Wednesday? Good session. I liked it.
Yeah, I would appreciate it. Again, another reminder that I see that we're, again, only 9 subscribers away from 400. And folks, that is youtube.com/@MC Show Digital, which got the correct YouTube channel there. So no matter where you're consuming the show right now, and you could have come across the show in a lot of different ways, and make sure you guys like the video. That's a free thing to do. And of course, subscribe. We're trying to grow the army. Our big goal is 500. That'd be a great one to get to. But before we get there, we got to hit all the other milestones. We're doing all kinds of fun autograph giveaways and other giveaways of that sort to incentivize you. Hopefully the product's really good. You guys just enjoy all the fun shows we've been putting out, especially a day like today. Wednesday is one of our busiest days that we do. We have this live show right now. We're going to have Jake Asman for all the New York Jet fans in the audience. We'll do a full Jets breakdown with Jake. We've got Survivor tonight, late tonight. We only have 2 episodes left. Tonight's the penultimate episode. Then next week is the finale. I can't believe it. And so we got our Survivor fantasy draft, and we'll watch the latest episode of Survivor, react to it. So it's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed doing this digital version of the product. It's different, but it's been a lot of fun.
All right. Jake Asman coming later today for all you Jets nuts. We'll do our usual Inside the Jets thing. So we'll ask about that Jets-Giants possibility. And could a trade be in the works if indeed this happened the way it looks like it could happen if it were today? So we'll have some fun with that. We'll break down all the stuff on the Jets with Jake. As Boy Green said, we'll be back live tonight for Survivor. That'll be about 9:45. Is it just this one and one more to the finale? I think it is. BG,
correct.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tonight is the penultimate episode. Okay. Next week is the finale.
Okay. So, wow. We'll be late night for the finale, too, because that's a longer show.
It's a 3-hour show.
On the back end of that show. Hope Brett LaBelle's ready to go for that, man.
Yeah, right before midnight.
All that important police work to do.
That's true.
Yeah,
we'll have to check in on that.
We'll have to check in on that, make sure he's up for the late night thing. I'm up for it. I'm up for it. I'll be down in New York City by then. So I'll be doing that Survivor show from Mom's house down in the city.
Great.
Unless
nice.
decide I'm going to climb to the top of the Empire State Building and do it from up there. But barring that, probably from Mom's house down on Long Island. So we'll do that, but we'll have all our usual stuff. But yeah, I'll be watching that down in New York. All right. Thanks to everybody again. Again, 9 subscribers away. If you're not subscribed and you're watching right now, hey, just click that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, and it's a lot of fun, and you're going to win some free stuff. I guarantee it, because it's not just this Bobby Mercer ball and the golf club that we're giving away, but we're going to incentivize all the way on the road to 500 subscribers. We just want to get to that nice round number a little quicker. So if you're into it, there it is right there. YouTube.com/@MC Show Digital. Click subscribe. Just become part of our family. Hit the notifications too, so you know when we're putting stuff out. And whether you're just a Survivor fan, a Jets fan, a Giants fan, a Bills fan, we do content on all of those. If you're local here in Central New York, we do Syracuse basketball and football regularly. We're getting into basketball season right now. We just put out a video yesterday with Neil Adler, our basketball insider from inside the Loud House. That was a fun interview. I really always enjoy Neil. We'll start having him on a weekly basis once we get past the new year and Syracuse basketball is dead into ACC play in their league. So it gets a lot more fun right to March Madness. So we will have some college hoops coverage as well. But again, the great thing about our channel is we put all of that stuff into playlists regularly. So if you're not into the Bills and you just love the Jets or the Giants, you can go into those playlists and just watch the stuff that we have on the Bills or the Giants or the Jets or whatever it is that tickles your fancy. So we do divide that stuff up to make it easy for you to consume on our channel, so you don't have to just randomly scroll through all the videos we have to find the stuff you like. You just go into that playlist and enjoy it that way. All right, one more time. It's @MC Show Digital. For Boy Green, it's the Manchild signing off. We'll see you tonight for Survivor right around 9:45. Take care.